Make your mind stronger, for the strength of your mind directly shapes your ability to navigate life's challenges and achieve your aspirations. The mind is not a passive entity. It is the most powerful tool at your disposal. The way you think influences not only how you perceive the world, but also how you interact with it. Every thought you entertain shapes your emotional and physical reality, creating either a foundation for growth or a barrier to progress. Strengthening your mind begins with the understanding that thoughts are not just passive reflections of reality, but active forces that determine the course of your life. The influence of the mind on perception is profound and far-reaching, shaping not only how we view the world, but also how we interact with it. Our thoughts are the foundation of our emotions, which in turn drive our actions. This intricate connection between thinking, feeling, and doing is what ultimately determines the quality of our lives. When the mind leans toward positivity and focuses on opportunities and solutions, the world itself seems to shift, becoming more inviting, manageable, and full of potential. Conversely, when negative thoughts dominate, they cast a shadow over everything, creating a perception of limitation and difficulty. The true power of the mind lies in its ability to alter this lens, making the world either a field of possibility or an endless maze of obstacles. Every experience we have begins with a thought. The way we interpret events is not based solely on external realities, but is colored by the mental framework we bring to those experiences. For instance, two individuals can face the same situation, such as a challenging work project, yet their responses may differ drastically. One, driven by a positive and solution-focused mindset, may view the project as an opportunity to grow, innovate, and showcase their abilities. The other, harboring doubts and negative assumptions, might see it as an overwhelming burden, leading to stress and avoidance. This stark contrast in perception highlights the power of thoughts to either uplift or undermine our potential. The mind's influence on perception is also evident in how we approach difficulties. When faced with a problem, the choice to focus on solutions rather than setbacks is what often defines success. A positive mindset doesn't deny the existence of challenges, but instead reframes them as stepping stones rather than roadblocks. This reframing is not about ignoring reality, but about choosing a perspective that empowers rather than paralyzes. By focusing on what can be done instead of what cannot, we redirect our energy from fear and frustration toward creativity and determination. This shift in focus allows us to navigate even the most complex situations with clarity and confidence. Another key aspect of the mind's influence is its role in determining emotional states. Emotions are not merely reactions to external stimuli, but are deeply tied to the thoughts we nurture. A person who constantly dwells on failure or fears will inevitably experience feelings of sadness, anxiety, or hopelessness. In contrast, someone who cultivates thoughts of gratitude, hope, and optimism is likely to feel more joyful, motivated, and resilient. This is not to suggest that emotions can always be controlled, but understanding their roots in our thoughts gives us the power to influence them. By consciously choosing to focus on uplifting and constructive ideas, we can create emotional states that support rather than hinder our growth. The interplay between thought and action also underscores the mind's pivotal role in shaping reality. Every significant achievement begins as a mere idea, and it is through sustained focus and belief in that idea that it takes form. A strong mind, disciplined in its thinking, becomes a powerful tool for turning dreams into reality. However, this process requires consistent effort. Allowing the mind to wander into negativity or doubt is akin to sabotaging one's own potential. The more we train ourselves to stay focused on positive outcomes and actionable steps, the more we align our actions with our goals, creating a reality that reflects our highest aspirations. The mind's influence on perception is not fixed but dynamic. By recognizing the power of our thoughts, we gain the ability to consciously shape our experiences. This realization is both liberating and empowering as it places the reins of our lives firmly in our hands. The world does not change of its own accord. It changes when we change the way we perceive it. By choosing to focus on positivity, embracing challenges, and nurturing constructive thoughts, we can transform not only our perception, but also the very reality we inhabit. This shift requires intention, practice, and resilience. But the rewards, clarity, empowerment, and fulfillment are more than worth the effort. The inner dialogue often runs on autopilot, shaped by past experiences, fears, and external influences. Left unchecked, this internal chatter can become a source of self-doubt, anxiety, and limitation. A mind that is not actively managed may default to patterns of negativity, magnifying problems and diminishing confidence. For example, after experiencing failure, the unchecked inner voice might repeatedly say, "I'm not good enough," or "I'll never succeed." These thoughts, if accepted without question, create a mental environment where self-doubt thrives and progress becomes nearly impossible. However, when a person learns to consciously observe and challenge these thoughts, the narrative shifts from defeat to determination. Instead of, "I'm not good enough," the reframed thought becomes, "I can learn from this and improve." Taking control of inner dialogue requires cultivating awareness. Often we are so immersed in our thoughts that we fail to recognize the stories we are telling ourselves. Awareness is the first step toward change. By pausing to observe the patterns of our internal dialogue, we gain the ability to evaluate whether those thoughts are constructive or harmful. This practice of mindfulness allows us to step back from the automatic nature of thinking and engage with our thoughts more intentionally. It helps us recognize that not every thought is a reflection of reality. Some are merely echoes of fear or outdated beliefs. Controlling inner dialogue also involves setting boundaries for the kinds of thoughts we allow to take root. A strong mind does not entertain every idea that arises. It recognizes that some thoughts are distractions, driven by fear or external pressure, and consciously chooses to let them go. This process is similar to curating a garden. Just as a gardener removes weeds to allow flowers to thrive, we must eliminate unhelpful thoughts to make space for those that nurture growth and positivity. This requires discipline and consistency, as the mind often gravitates toward familiar patterns, even if they are unproductive. Over time, however, the practice of selective thinking becomes second nature, creating a mental environment where confidence and clarity can flourish. Another crucial element of managing inner dialogue is the ability to maintain focus on long-term goals rather than being derailed by immediate discomfort or setbacks. When difficulties arise, the inner voice often becomes louder, questioning whether the effort is worth it or whether failure is inevitable. In such moments, a strong mind counters with reminders of purpose and progress, staying anchored to the bigger picture. This ability to stay focused on what truly matters, despite temporary challenges, is what distinguishes a mind that is in control from one that is reactive. It shifts the narrative from "why bother" to "this is worth it and I will keep going." Equally important is the role of self-compassion in managing inner dialogue. Often, the inner voice is harsh and unforgiving, holding us to impossible standards and criticizing every perceived flaw. A strong mind recognizes the need for balance, allowing space for both accountability and kindness. Self-compassion transforms the narrative from one of relentless judgment to one of growth and understanding. Instead of berating oneself for mistakes, the reframed dialogue might say, "I made a mistake, but I'm learning and improving." This shift fosters a sense of self-worth and resilience, making it easier to move forward after setbacks. Controlling inner dialogue involves aligning the internal narrative with one's values and aspirations. A strong mind ensures that the stories it tells itself are not only positive, but also purposeful. It uses inner dialogue as a tool to reinforce commitment to goals, remind oneself of strengths, and stay connected to a deeper sense of meaning. This alignment creates a sense of harmony between thought and action, empowering the individual to approach life with confidence and clarity. In the end, the ability to manage inner dialogue is a reflection of self-mastery. It is the foundation for emotional resilience, effective decision-making, and personal growth. By taking control of the stories we tell ourselves, we gain the power to transform challenges into opportunities and to create a life that reflects our highest potential. This practice requires intention, patience, and consistency, but the rewards, greater peace, strength, and fulfillment are immeasurable. Intentional thinking is the cornerstone of personal growth and empowerment. It is the deliberate act of directing thoughts with purpose and clarity, rather than allowing old patterns or external influences to dictate responses. This approach to thinking enables individuals to break free from the automatic reactions that often hold them back, and to instead choose thoughts that align with their goals and values. At its core, intentional thinking is about taking ownership of the mental processes that shape our perceptions, decisions, and ultimately our lives. The mind has a natural tendency to fall into familiar patterns of thought. These patterns are often shaped by past experiences, societal expectations, or ingrained beliefs, many of which operate unconsciously. Without intentional thinking, these automatic responses can dominate, leading to behaviors and outcomes that may not serve one's best interests. For example, a person who has faced repeated setbacks might develop a habit of thinking, "This always happens to me," whenever a new challenge arises. Such thoughts, though automatic, reinforce a sense of defeat and hinder progress. Intentional thinking disrupts this cycle by encouraging individuals to consciously evaluate and reshape their thoughts. The process begins with awareness. Before one can direct their thoughts intentionally, they must first recognize what they are thinking and why. This requires stepping back and observing the mind without judgment, noticing patterns that emerge in different situations. For instance, during moments of stress or uncertainty, the mind may default to thoughts of fear or self-doubt. By becoming aware of these tendencies, individuals gain the ability to question their validity. Is this thought reflective of reality, or is it merely a product of past conditioning? Awareness is the first step in reclaiming control over one's mental narrative. Once aware, the next step is choosing thoughts that align with desired outcomes. Intentional thinking is not about ignoring challenges or adopting blind positivity. It is about reframing situations in ways that empower rather than limit. Consider a person facing a significant career decision. Instead of being consumed by thoughts like, "What if I fail?" or "I'm not ready for this," intentional thinking might involve focusing on questions like, "What can I learn from this opportunity?" or "How can I prepare to succeed?" This shift in focus not only reduces fear, but also opens the mind to possibilities and solutions. Intentional thinking also requires a commitment to redirect thoughts when they stray into unproductive territory. The mind is easily influenced by external stimuli such as negative news, unhelpful feedback, or societal pressures. Without vigilance, these influences can shape thoughts in ways that lead to doubt, comparison, or stagnation. Intentional thinkers actively choose which inputs to engage with and which to ignore. They recognize that not every thought deserves attention, and that mental energy is better spent on ideas that foster growth and clarity. This practice involves continually guiding the mind back to thoughts that serve a higher purpose, much like steering a ship through changing tides. A crucial aspect of intentional thinking is its role in shaping emotional resilience. Emotions often stem from the thoughts we entertain, and by directing thoughts purposefully, we can influence our emotional state. For instance, when faced with a setback, thoughts of failure or inadequacy can lead to feelings of frustration or despair. However, intentionally focusing on thoughts of perseverance, learning, and future opportunities can foster hope and motivation. This ability to regulate emotions through intentional thinking is a powerful tool for maintaining balance and composure, even in challenging circumstances. The practice of intentional thinking is not without challenges. The mind often resists change, clinging to familiar patterns even when they are unhelpful. Developing intentional thinking requires patience, discipline, and a willingness to confront uncomfortable truths. It involves letting go of limiting beliefs and embracing a mindset of possibility and growth. This process can be uncomfortable at first, as it challenges deeply ingrained habits. However, the rewards are profound. By choosing thoughts that align with their aspirations, individuals gain the ability to create lives that reflect their true potential. Intentional thinking is about recognizing the immense power of the mind and using it deliberately to shape one's reality. It is a practice that transforms passive living into active creation, empowering individuals to respond to life's challenges with purpose and clarity. By directing thoughts intentionally, we can overcome old patterns, navigate uncertainty with confidence, and build a future that aligns with our highest values. In this way, intentional thinking becomes not just a tool for personal growth, but a foundation for a fulfilling and meaningful life. Emotional connection plays a vital role in shaping how we experience life and interact with the world around us. The ability to manage emotions effectively begins with understanding the profound link between thoughts and feelings. Every emotion we experience stems from the thoughts we allow to dominate our minds. By focusing on uplifting and empowering thoughts, we can shift our mental state and create an emotional environment that supports resilience, growth, and well-being. Our emotions are deeply influenced by the narratives we construct within our minds. When we dwell on negative thoughts, such as fear, self-doubt, or regret, these mental patterns give rise to emotions like anxiety, sadness, or frustration. These emotions can then perpetuate a cycle, reinforcing the negative thought patterns and creating a mental state that feels overwhelming and draining. Conversely, when we intentionally choose thoughts that inspire hope, gratitude, or joy, our emotional state shifts correspondingly. This interplay highlights the power of the mind in shaping not only how we think, but also how we feel. Managing emotions begins with cultivating awareness. Many people experience emotions reactively, unaware of the thoughts driving them. A challenging situation, such as a disagreement with a colleague or a personal setback, might trigger feelings of anger or disappointment. Without awareness, these emotions can escalate, leading to impulsive reactions or prolonged distress. By stepping back and observing our thoughts in such moments, we create space to understand the root of our emotions. This practice of mindfulness allows us to identify whether the thoughts fueling our emotions are based on reality or distorted by past experiences and assumptions. Once we understand the connection between thoughts and emotions, we gain the ability to shift our focus intentionally. For example, when confronted with a setback, it is natural for the mind to dwell on the negative aspects of the situation. However, by redirecting our attention to what can be learned from the experience or to past successes that demonstrate our resilience, we can transform feelings of despair into motivation and hope. This deliberate reframing of thoughts is a powerful tool for managing emotions, as it enables us to respond to challenges constructively rather than being consumed by them. Another essential aspect of managing emotions is practicing self-compassion. Often, negative emotions arise from harsh self-judgment or unrealistic expectations. When we make a mistake or fall short of a goal, the inner critic may amplify feelings of guilt or inadequacy. By shifting our thoughts toward kindness and understanding, we can ease the intensity of these emotions. Self-compassion involves recognizing that imperfection is a natural part of being human and treating ourselves with the same empathy we would offer to a friend. This change in perspective not only soothes emotional distress, but also fosters a sense of inner strength and self-worth. Emotional connection extends beyond managing individual emotions to influencing our relationships with others. When we are attuned to our own emotions and manage them effectively, we are better equipped to empathize with and support those around us. For instance, during a conflict, the ability to recognize and regulate our emotions allows us to communicate more thoughtfully and avoid escalating tensions. This emotional awareness strengthens our connections with others, fostering trust, understanding, and mutual respect. In this way, managing emotions through intentional thinking not only enhances our inner world, but also enriches our interactions with the external world. The process of managing emotions by focusing on uplifting thoughts is not about avoiding difficult feelings or denying the challenges of life. Instead, it is about choosing how we engage with those challenges. By acknowledging difficult emotions while consciously directing our thoughts toward hope, gratitude, or possibility, we can create a balanced emotional state that allows us to navigate life with resilience and clarity. This approach empowers us to face adversity with strength and to celebrate moments of joy with deeper appreciation. Managing emotions through intentional thinking is a skill that transforms how we experience life. It enables us to shift from reacting impulsively to responding thoughtfully, from dwelling in negativity to finding inspiration in the present moment. By focusing on uplifting thoughts, we cultivate a mental state that supports emotional well-being, personal growth, and meaningful connections. This practice requires effort and consistency, but the rewards, a life filled with purpose, harmony, and fulfillment, are immeasurable. Through the power of intentional thinking, we can create an emotional landscape that aligns with our highest aspirations and values. Mental discipline begins with the recognition that the mind requires guidance and structure to function optimally. Without deliberate effort, the mind can become reactive, easily swayed by distractions, negativity, or immediate gratification. Mental discipline involves training the mind to stay focused on what truly matters, even when faced with discomfort or uncertainty. This focus is not about suppressing emotions or ignoring difficulties, but about maintaining clarity and purpose amidst life's fluctuations. Through disciplined thinking, we gain the ability to direct our energy toward productive and meaningful actions rather than being consumed by fleeting impulses or external pressures. A key component of mental discipline is the ability to prioritize long-term goals over short-term desires. Human nature often gravitates toward comfort and avoidance of difficulty, which can lead to procrastination or abandoning tasks when they become challenging. However, mental discipline teaches us to resist the temptation of immediate gratification and to stay committed to our broader objectives. For example, a person pursuing a demanding career or educational goal may encounter moments of doubt or fatigue. In such times, mental discipline serves as a compass, reminding them of the larger vision and the rewards of perseverance. This ability to stay the course, even when the journey feels arduous, builds not only progress, but also confidence in one's capacity to overcome obstacles. Resilience, closely intertwined with mental discipline, is the ability to adapt to adversity and recover from setbacks. Life is inherently unpredictable, and challenges are inevitable. Resilience does not eliminate hardship, but equips us with the tools to face it with courage and resourcefulness. A resilient mind views difficulties as opportunities for growth rather than as insurmountable barriers. This mindset enables us to reframe failures, not as reflections of inadequacy, but as valuable learning experiences. Each setback becomes a stepping stone, teaching us new skills, perspectives, or strengths that prepare us for future challenges. The development of resilience requires cultivating a mindset of adaptability. Rigidity in thinking or behavior often exacerbates the stress of adversity, as it limits our ability to adjust to changing circumstances. A resilient individual embraces flexibility, recognizing that setbacks may require new approaches or strategies. For instance, When a carefully laid plan encounters unforeseen obstacles, resilience involves reevaluating the situation, seeking alternative solutions, and moving forward with determination. This adaptability ensures that we remain focused on our goals while remaining open to the lessons that challenges can offer. Daily practices play a crucial role in building both mental discipline and resilience. These practices serve as anchors, grounding us amidst the unpredictability of life and reinforcing habits that strengthen the mind. Mindfulness and meditation, for example, help cultivate self-awareness, allowing us to observe our thoughts and emotions without becoming overwhelmed by them. Journaling can provide clarity by enabling us to articulate our goals, fears, and progress, creating a tangible reminder of our commitment to growth. Physical exercise, too, contributes to mental discipline by fostering perseverance and resilience through the act of pushing past physical and mental limits. Consistency is another cornerstone of mental discipline. Building a strong mind is not a one-time effort, but a lifelong practice. Each day presents opportunities to reinforce discipline, whether by choosing to work toward a goal despite distractions, maintaining composure during a difficult interaction, or resisting the urge to give in to self-doubt. Over time, these small, consistent actions accumulate, creating a mental foundation that is unshakable in the face of adversity. Consistency also strengthens resilience by building a track record of overcoming challenges, which serves as a source of confidence and motivation during future difficulties. Resilience also involves fostering a support system. While mental discipline is often cultivated individually, resilience is strengthened through connection with others. Trusted friends, family members, or mentors can provide encouragement, perspective, and practical assistance during challenging times. Sharing our struggles and seeking support does not diminish our strength. Rather, it reinforces our ability to persevere by reminding us that we are not alone. Community and connection are essential components of resilience, as they provide both emotional sustenance and a sense of belonging that fortifies us against the isolation that challenges can sometimes bring. Another critical aspect of mental discipline and resilience is the ability to manage self-talk. The internal dialogue we maintain can either strengthen or weaken our resolve. Negative self-talk, such as thoughts of inadequacy or hopelessness, can undermine our efforts and erode confidence. By practicing intentional and constructive self-talk, we reframe our inner narrative to one of empowerment and encouragement. For example, instead of thinking, "I'll never succeed at this," we can reframe the thought to, "This is challenging, but I am capable of finding a solution." This shift in self-perception fosters both mental discipline and resilience, as it reinforces a belief in our ability to navigate difficulty. Resilience also requires an acceptance of imperfection. Often, the pressure to succeed without mistakes creates unnecessary stress and inhibits growth. By recognizing that failure is an integral part of progress, we free ourselves from the fear of falling short. This acceptance enables us to take risks, learn from mistakes, and continue moving forward with confidence. It also reminds us that resilience is not about perfection, but about perseverance and the willingness to begin again after every setback. In cultivating mental discipline and resilience, we also nurture a sense of purpose. Purpose provides a guiding light, giving our efforts and struggles meaning. When we are connected to a deeper sense of why we pursue certain goals or values, it becomes easier to maintain discipline and recover from adversity. Purpose serves as both a motivator and a source of comfort, reminding us that our efforts contribute to something greater than ourselves. This sense of purpose transforms challenges into meaningful milestones rather than burdens, fostering a mindset of growth and fulfillment. Silencing the inner critic is an essential step in achieving mental peace and fostering self-growth. The inner critic, often rooted in fear, insecurity, or past experiences, manifests as a voice that questions our worth, abilities, and decisions. While this critical voice may initially seem protective, it often undermines confidence, fuels self-doubt, and limits potential. Overcoming its influence requires cultivating self-compassion, practicing mindfulness, and reinforcing positive beliefs that empower rather than hinder. Self-compassion serves as a powerful antidote to the harshness of the inner critic. When mistakes are made or goals are unmet, the inner voice often amplifies feelings of failure, labeling the individual as inadequate or incapable. By practicing self-compassion, we acknowledge these experiences with kindness and understanding rather than judgment. Instead of berating ourselves for falling short, we remind ourselves that mistakes are a natural part of growth and learning. Self-compassion helps reframe the narrative from one of blame to one of encouragement, allowing us to focus on progress rather than perfection. This shift in perspective not only diminishes the power of the inner critic, but also fosters a sense of resilience and self-worth. Mindfulness is another crucial practice in silencing the inner critic. Often, we are so accustomed to the critical voice that we accept its judgments without question, allowing them to shape our emotions and decisions. Mindfulness teaches us to observe these thoughts as they arise, creating space between the thought and our response to it. This practice allows us to recognize the inner critic for what it is, a collection of conditioned fears and doubts, rather than an accurate reflection of reality. By observing these thoughts without becoming entangled in them, we gain the ability to question their validity and choose more constructive responses. Mindfulness transforms the inner dialogue from a reactive monologue into a reflective and intentional conversation. Positive reinforcement is equally vital in diminishing the inner critic's voice. The mind responds to repetition and reinforcement, meaning the narratives we consistently feed ourselves become the ones we believe. When we replace self-critical thoughts with affirmations that highlight our strengths, achievements, and potential, we begin to reshape the inner narrative. For example, rather than thinking, "I'll never be good enough," we can affirm, "I am capable of growth and improvement." These affirmations, when repeated regularly, help rewire the brain to focus on possibilities rather than limitations. Over time, the habit of positive reinforcement creates a mental environment where confidence thrives and the inner critic's influence wanes. Silencing the inner critic also involves setting realistic expectations and embracing imperfection. Much of the inner critic's power stems from unrealistic standards, where any deviation from perceived perfection is met with harsh judgment. By accepting that imperfection is inherent to being human, we free ourselves from the pressure to constantly meet unattainable ideals. This acceptance does not mean lowering our aspirations, but rather approaching them with a mindset of growth and patience. When we stumble, we see it as an opportunity to learn rather than as a reason for self-reproach. This approach dismantles the inner critic's narrative that mistakes define us, replacing it with the understanding that they are stepping stones to success. Another important strategy in silencing the inner critic is surrounding ourselves with positive influences. The people we interact with, the media we consume, and the environments we inhabit all contribute to the mental narratives we construct. Spending time with supportive individuals who uplift and encourage us helps counteract the critical voice within. Similarly, limiting exposure to negativity, whether from external sources or internal thought patterns, creates space for positive self-perceptions to take root. By curating a nurturing environment, we reinforce the belief that we are deserving of kindness and growth, both from others and from ourselves. The practice of gratitude further diminishes the inner critic by shifting focus from perceived shortcomings to the abundance in our lives. When we regularly reflect on the things we are grateful for, our achievements, relationships, or personal qualities, we train the mind to prioritize positivity over negativity. Gratitude serves as a powerful counterbalance to the critical voice, reminding us of our value and the progress we have made. This practice not only silences the inner critic, but also fosters a deeper sense of contentment and fulfillment. Silencing the inner critic is not about eliminating all self-doubt, but about transforming its influence. It requires consistent effort to replace negativity with self-compassion, mindfulness, and positive reinforcement. As we develop these practices, the voice of the inner critic diminishes, making space for a narrative that supports rather than hinders our growth. This journey is one of self-awareness and intentionality, empowering us to build a relationship with ourselves that is rooted in kindness, resilience, and trust. By quieting the inner critic, we unlock the potential to live with confidence, pursue our goals with determination, and embrace life's challenges as opportunities for growth. In conclusion, the power to shape our reality lies within the mastery of our own minds. By cultivating mental discipline, fostering resilience, and maintaining an unwavering focus on personal growth, we gain the tools necessary to overcome challenges and achieve fulfillment. Life's obstacles, while inevitable, become stepping stones rather than barriers when approached with clarity and intention. This story serves as a reminder that self-growth is not an end goal, but a continuous journey fueled by our ability to harness the mind's potential. The practice of shaping thoughts intentionally and responding to adversity with purpose creates a foundation for a life of meaning and satisfaction. It is through daily effort, conscious choices, and a commitment to self-improvement that we transform our inner world, ultimately influencing the reality we experience. As readers, we are empowered to take ownership of this journey, knowing that our minds are not just tools, but the architects of our destiny. This understanding liberates us to create a life that reflects our highest aspirations and deepest values.